of shadows, no light in sight. I cling to whispers that carry the fight. When storms come raging, I won't break away. Your strength, my anchor, I won't go astray.
The arrival of a youth corps member in a rural community is usually a moment of joy. In many Nigerian villages, the sight of a young graduate in his khaki uniform symbolizes hope, progress, and opportunity. That was exactly how the people of Iduma community felt when they heard that the government had posted a copper to their secondary school. The villagers were excited. They believed it was an answered prayer. Parents gathered at the market square discussing the good news. Some said, "Our children will finally learn from someone who has gone far in education. This is a blessing to us." Others added, "Perhaps this copper will help our students pass WAEC and JAMB." The anticipation was high. When Johnson, a graduate of education from a southern university, arrived in Iduma, the people welcomed him warmly. He was tall, confident, and always walked with his head held high. His uniform was neat, his boots polished, and he carried himself with pride. Children followed him around, fascinated by the government teacher. The village elders blessed him. The women cooked for him. The school principal thanked the NYSC for sending such a young man. To the students, he was not just a teacher. He was a role model, a big brother, and for some, even a father figure. At first, everything looked perfect. Johnson taught English and social studies with energy. His voice was loud and clear, his handwriting bold on the chalkboard, and his teaching style different from what the students were used to. He encouraged class participation, told jokes to make lessons interesting, and sometimes shared his personal experiences about life in the university. The students admired him and the parents praised him. But beneath that fine uniform and smile was a weakness that nobody saw coming. As weeks turned into months, Johnson's behavior began to change. He started to show unusual attention to some of the senior secondary school girls. After classes, he would call them aside, pretending to give extra lessons. At first, it seemed harmless. Every teacher gives extra help sometimes. But gradually, people began to notice he was always in the company of female students, more than the males. Johnson knew the students looked up to him, and he began to misuse that trust. He gave gifts, biscuits, recharge cards, exercise books, and sometimes even small amounts of money. To some of the girls, especially those from poor homes, these gifts felt like blessings. Many of them believed his promises. He whispered to them in secret, "If you follow me, I will make sure you pass your exams in flying colors. I can help you when you get to the university. Don't you want to be special to me?" The girls were teenagers, old enough to dream big, but still too young to fully understand manipulation. They saw him as educated, influential, and experienced. And so, one after another, they fell into his trap. It started with one girl. She suddenly stopped coming to school regularly. Teachers thought she was sick, but weeks later, whispers spread that she was pregnant. Parents grew worried, but before the matter could settle, another girl showed the same signs, then another. By the time the third case surfaced, the community grew suspicious. The principal, confused and embarrassed, called a staff meeting. Rumors spread like wildfire. What is happening to our girls? Could it be the copper? Finally, when parents and teachers gathered to confront the issue, the bitter truth spilled out. After investigation and testimonies from the girls themselves, it was confirmed 10 senior secondary school students were pregnant, and all fingers pointed to Copper Johnson. The news hit Iduma like thunder. The community that once sang Johnson's praises now spat his name in disgust. Parents wept bitterly. Mothers held their daughters and cried, asking why.
fathers clenched their fists in anger, ready to confront Johnson. One mother screamed in the school compound, "My daughter was the first in her class. She wanted to be a nurse. Now her future is ruined because of this man." Another father shouted in rage, "We welcomed him as our son, but he has paid us back with shame. He came here to destroy our children." The once celebrated copper became an outcast overnight. The same villagers who had cooked for him now chased him away from their homes. The children who once admired him now avoided him. His name, which once inspired respect, was now a curse. The scandal could not be hidden. It spread beyond Iduma. People from neighboring villages heard the story and mocked the community. Is that not the village where a copper got 10 students pregnant? The matter reached the local government education authority, then the NYSC headquarters. Johnson was arrested, stripped of his uniform, and dismissed from service in disgrace. His career, which was full of promise, collapsed before his eyes. But while Johnson faced punishment, the true victims were the girls. 10 young lives, 10 dreams suddenly shattered. Some of them were preparing for WAEC, but now they dropped out of school. Others could no longer sit for their JAMB exams. A few faced health complications during childbirth because their bodies were not fully ready. Many carried the heavy burden of stigma, mocked by peers and judged by society. The community itself carried shame. Parents questioned their own judgment. Teachers blamed themselves for not noticing sooner. The principal carried the weight of guilt, feeling he had failed to protect his students.